Welcome on in, fellow weebs and otakus, to another manga video. In this video, we're going to be checking out a manga which actually initially first started out as a movie. It's actually more well known as a movie, not like a manga. The movie was so successful that they made a manga adaptation on it, so that must tell you something. And the manga we are looking at today is 5 centimeters per second. Now, I won't be looking at separate single volumes that were released, which I do know were released at a certain point in time. Of course, if you're going to be collecting or buying this manga, you don't want to be looking at individual volumes. There's a much better way, a more accessible way of getting this manga, and that is through the Omnibus, which I have right here. This is the Omnibus edition, as you guys can see. Just get a quick zoom in on that. I mean, I'll show a proper preview of it in a bit. But hey, if you're like me, you're looking for that hardcover swag, you're looking for the hardcover editions, rest assured we have a collector's edition for you fine folks out there, who are hardcore collectors. Well, I mean, if you're a hardcore collector, you're probably gonna buy both of these. But yeah, this collector's edition looks very nice. I really like the cover art. Actually, I dare say that I actually prefer this cover art over the Omnibus edition. Now, I did receive both of these manga as a gift, but I never actually had the opportunity to look through both of them, to actually see what the difference between the collector and the Omnibus is. But eventually I got around to it because I thought maybe I could make a video on it, discuss differences if, people are debating on which one to buy, the collectors or the Omnibus. I'm afraid to say it, but there's really no actual difference. Like, there's no viable difference between the two. You would think that the collector's edition has more content because it's collector, right? Hey, it's a collector's edition. You would expect more. Basically, everything's the same. The only real difference you guys will see, which you've clearly just seen, is that one is hardcover and the other is paperback. Now, before we get into the main details about the small differences that I did see, I just want to say that the collector's edition is extremely hard to find for some reason. The collector's edition is a lot easier to find with Canadian retailers. I'm not really entirely sure why this is. Like, when I searched on the American websites, I was not able to find the collector's edition, which is very strange. The only thing that showed up was the Omnibus. In fact, for some reason, they don't really push the collector's edition out as much as I thought. Like, when you search in 5 centimeters per second on, like, let's say you're on Amazon and you search it, the first thing that pops up is an Omnibus version. You can even go through all the search results, it just still won't be there. You have to specifically type in 5 centimeters per second on like hardcover or collector's edition, then it will show up. So that's why I do think that some of you may never even realize that a collector's edition exists, and you're probably like, wait, what is this? So with that out of the way, what are even the differences between the two? You have a collector's edition, you have an Omnibus edition, so what's the differences? Well, I'm gonna go over the first one, which is the most obvious. I don't even know why I have to say it, but I'm gonna say it anyway. The collector's is hardcover, and the Omnibus is paperback. If you guys didn't already, notice that. Now, I do want to point out that for the collector's edition, the hardcover quality isn't exactly what I was expecting. It doesn't really have a lot of weight to it. The actual hardcover portion of it, I don't know how to explain it. The best I can explain it is the quality feels like a textbook, like an old textbook. One of those old textbooks you guys would read back in maybe like high school or elementary school. This has that same vibe, but I don't know how they did it, but it doesn't have that weight to like the cover, the binding, I don't know. So something's missing, and it just gives me that old textbook feel. I'm not saying it's terrible. I'm not saying it's bad. Like, this isn't like a bad thing I'm pointing out. It's just something I noticed, and I never really found this with any other manga that I have. So moving on to the next difference, the artwork. Again, something that you probably visually saw when I showed you the manga. The artwork for both of them are different, front and back. Now, which one you prefer completely comes down to you. I personally prefer the collector's edition. I really like the, sakura blossom, the sakura trees, cherry blossom trees, whatever you want to call it. That Japanese Japan vibe. I just like that artwork, how it looks. One other thing I noticed when I was flipping through, trying to find differences between the two, is that paper quality is kind of different. I mean, the quality itself is fine. Like, they're both the same in terms of the page thickness and all that. But the color of the pages is different. I don't know why that is. The collector's edition, it has a bit more wider tone. The Omnibus is a bit more of a traditional yellowish tint. I will be showing this on the screen for you guys to see. You should be able to detect the difference, especially like I had to put it under bright light, but you guys can see what I'm talking about there. The next one is size. Now you guys probably didn't see it when I showed the manga earlier, but there is actually a size difference. The collector's edition is slightly larger, like maybe not even an inch larger, just slightly under. But it is bigger slightly, probably just because of the hardcover. If you were to actually compare the page sizes themselves, I think the page sizes are the same. It just looks bigger because of the hardcover. That's basically it. Finally, the first actual real difference, and the only difference in terms of the content that is included. This is the only difference, guys, between these two versions, aside from the hardcover. And that difference is that the collector's edition has an afterword from the author at the end of the manga, and like one page of like kind of like extra art, I guess. It's nothing special, but that's basically it. 2 pages, afterword, and some art. That's the only extra bonus content that is included in the collector's edition. Aside from that, everything is 1-to-1 from the collector's to Omnibus. It's all exact same. The page count is the same as well. Now that we got the differences, the comparisons out of the way, I do want to discuss the publisher. For the collector edition, the publisher is Kodansha Comics, KC Comics, right? But from the Omnibus, we have Vertical Comics. Now, I didn't know this. I did not know this. Maybe I should have known this, but Vertical Comics is actually a smaller part of Kodansha Comics. So basically, KC Comics actually owns Vertical Comics. And they're like a subdivision that makes up Kodansha Comics. Like, I don't want to get into too much of the nitty gritties. Maybe I'll make a video of it later on. The bottom line is that both are published by KC Comics, but both are solid. I don't have any complaints. The only thing that I mentioned earlier was for the collector's edition in terms of the quality of the hardcover. But aside from that, it's pretty solid. I don't have any, actual complaint. It's good. My only complaint, if anything, is I don't have any, actual complaint. Why the fuck you lying? Why is it called the collector's edition? I'm sure you guys could have included something else in this collector's edition, you know what I mean? There's no extra color pages. Color pages that exist within the collector's edition are the same as the Omnibus. Like, it's just the same. Maybe they could have put more color pages. Maybe they could have put an extra couple pages of the author, talking about the development. I don't know, just something. Like, maybe the development of the movie. Otherwise, why would you call it the collector's edition? But that's enough complaining from me. So which one do I prefer? I'm gonna have to say the collector's edition. As much as I did complain about the hardcover, quality of the hardcover, whatever, it's good. It's good. I do wish there was more content, but if you're gonna buy one of these, I do recommend picking this one up just for the size. It's slightly bigger, it just feels better, slightly more premium. But I do know that people will prefer reading a paperback edition because hardcovers can kind of be a pain to read. I also prefer the hardcover because of the art on the front and the back, which was my personal preference. But if you guys have the chance of buying the collectors, I do say that you pick it up because for some reason it's kind of rare to find. I don't know why that is. I even checked on eBay and I can't even find it. There's only one person selling it from Canada. But again, if you guys are on a budget, just stick with the Omnibus. You're not really missing out on much. But yeah, guys, that's it from me today for this video. Thank you again for tuning in, guys. And if you enjoy the content, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, because I'm trying to bring out as much manga content that I can. In fact, I actually wanted to make this video slightly longer so that I could discuss the light novel, which I also have, the 5 centimeters per second light novel, and I want to look at possible differences, similarities between the manga, and maybe things that they may have removed. Now, I decided against it because I didn't want to pad out the video too long, so I might make that a separate video in the future. Anyway, guys, I'll see you guys in the next one. This is Rich Talk with your host, and I am signing off.